Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. I have an experiment for you today. So brown butter bites have been all the rage in the keto community recently. Lots of people have done videos about them, and I have definitely tried them. I showed you them in a what I eat in a day video. I made the first batch with salted butter, which I found was a mistake if I wanted to add in any flavored element to give flavoring. Made it too salty, so I picked up my unsalted butter and I'm ready to give them another try, but I had the idea of trying them a different way in order to get a different, softer texture. I like the brown butter bites okay. I don't love the feeling of eating frozen fat, like a whole big chunk of frozen fat. It's not bad. I mean, I do it. I have been doing it, but I was thinking if I could make them a little bit softer and a little bit more enjoyable for me, why not? So I remembered a recipe from back in my THM days, and it's a recipe from their original Trim Healthy Mama cookbook. It is called Skinny Truffles, and it is made with coconut oil, but I thought that the technique might work just as well for the brown butter bites. Their recipe has like sweetener and cocoa and stuff to make like chocolate truffles. I'm gonna leave those out and only add in the chocolate salt element as the flavoring. I don't know for sure if that's gonna change like the consistency, the ending consistency that's kind of truffle-like without all of that cocoa and all of that sweetener, but I thought I would have to give it a try. The only ingredients are butter. I'm gonna do the flavoring with the chocolate salt element, but of course you could leave this out if you don't do chocolate salt element and you just want the plain brown butter. And then also there's gonna be some hot water just off the boil and some gelatin. You guys know gelatin is one of my favorite ingredients to play with in the kitchen. So that's it. It's super, super simple. And I am really curious to see if this technique is gonna work with the brown butter. So first thing I have to do is actually make my brown butter. So I'm gonna head over to the stove and get started on that. So I'm turning my saucepan onto, I'm gonna start out at medium high, but I'll probably turn it down to medium as things get going. And I'm going to plop in my whole cup of unsalted Kerrygold butter. And making brown butter is very, very simple. All you do is just cook it kind of low and slow until it starts to get brown. It'll start getting frothy and then it'll start getting brown, and you can cook it, till as brown as you want, depending on like the flavor that you're going for. And you just have to do it a few times to kind of figure out how brown you like it. You guys hear that frog? Apparently we have a frog under the house again. It's a common occurrence around here. Today's video is sponsored by Element. Element is an electrolyte supplement that I use every single day and I absolutely love. Their electrolyte formulation has everything that you need and nothing that you don't. Each packet has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. They come in these super convenient little sticks that you can throw in your purse and have on the go. I have them like everywhere, so I'm never without them. They have all kinds of fruity flavors that are great, but they also still have their seasonal chocolate medley pack that you can grab. Limited time. I'm not sure how long this is going to be around, so if you're wanting to try it, grab it quick. Also, a special deal right now for any of my viewers. You can get a free sample pack with any order that you place from Element. These sample packs come with all 8 of their regular flavors for you to try. It's a great way to try them all or to share with a friend. To get this special deal, just go to drinkelement.com/indigo. That's drinklmnt.com/indigo to pick up your free sample pack with any order. Thanks again to Element for sponsoring this video, and now back to the recipe. Now that all the butter is melted and it's boiling, I'm going to turn the heat to medium, maybe a little bit below medium. And you don't have to stir it constantly except right towards the very end, but you do want to stir it very, very frequently. You do not want it to burn. You can kind of see the milk solids at the bottom there starting to get really brown. That is what you want. And there's the froth on top, and make sure you're not just looking at the color of the froth, but that you're looking at the color of the liquid underneath, because that is what will burn and be black before the froth looks super dark. It's been about 8 minutes, a little over 8 minutes from when I put the butter into the pan, and about 4 minutes from when when it started boiling. And I don't want it to get too dark. It's always so nerve-wracking because you don't want to waste a whole cup of butter here, but you want it to get that nice flavor as well. I think I'm going to call that good because the milk solids are getting pretty dark down there. So I'm going to pull that off the heat while I get my other ingredients prepared. It smells so good. It just smells like caramel. Delicious. First thing I'm going to add to my blender is 1 cup of hot water just off the boil. Next is 2.5 teaspoons of gelatin powder. Any unflavored gelatin should work. I like to use the Now brand beef gelatin. 2.5. Just gonna blend this up real quick to get the gelatin to dissolve. Now, while it's going just on low, I'm gonna start drizzling in my browned butter. I'm also going to go ahead and throw in my chocolate salt element. You don't have to whip it too extensively, just as long as everything is kind of mixed up, it's good. It looks like hot chocolate right now. So I have a few different molds here. I have these cute flowers. They're kind of hard to get the truffles or gummies or whatever you're making in there out, but they're so cute that I wanted to at least try. And then I have some of these silicone mini muffin cups. So I'm gonna see how many I fill up. I'll probably need more than this, so I have more. Okay, so I spilled a little bit. Let me taste it real quick. Oh man, that is so good and caramely. I considered using the caramel element salt, caramel chocolate element, but I thought with the brown butter, it's already gonna have that caramely flavor that I might as well just save the caramel flavored one for my tea or something else like that. So the THM recipe for the coconut oil truffles say to put them all into the freezer, let them get frozen solid, then transfer them to the refrigerator and let them sit in the refrigerator until they come to refrigerator temperature and are not frozen anymore, and that's when they taste the best. I don't know how necessary that is, and obviously the butter works differently than coconut oil. So I'm gonna take a few of these and just stick them in the fridge because it would be really convenient if you could just stick them in the fridge and wait for them to firm up just like you would with like a gummy or something and then eat them that way. But I will also put some in the freezer and then do the refrigerator after that and just see if there's a difference in texture. Into the fridge, these ones go. And these ones are headed into the freezer. So it's been about an hour and these feel pretty solid. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop them out and then throw them in the fridge and see how long it takes for them to get like defrosted a little bit. So you can see it's still got the brown butter bottoms there, but it didn't separate too bad. I was worried with, you know, half water, half butter, that the water would separate out and you'd have like an ice cube on top. But oh, this feels gummy, like a gummy. It'll be interesting. They look pretty cute actually. Oh no. That's what I was worried about. I tried. I got one, super cute. I got a couple actually. All right, back into the fridge these go. I'm not gonna let this go to waste. Look at that, it's kind of like, almost like frosting actually. All right, I'm gonna taste it. I missed one. This one was trying to get away from me. Oh man, so caramely. All right, throw this one in the fridge. Now for these ones from the fridge. Let's see, they seemed pretty set. They're kind of soft like a gummy or something, but oh, since they're softer, they're not coming out as easily. I think coconut oil is harder when cold than brown butter is. So I'm wondering if it would be a better idea to reduce the water in the recipe to try to get a better result. Okay. The bottom feels like a gummy. So it's like some of the element or something, some of the water with some of the element and the brown butter flecks separated. So there is a little bit of separation, but not a ton. And they're very, very soft. They kind of pull apart just like that. You know what would be really good is to coat these in chocolate. Maybe it's just because they're in like a peanut butter cup shape, but if you were to like dip these in chocolate after, and then this was like the filling inside, because it is very truffle-y, and it's, like I said, it's kind of like frosting, like a buttercream frosting. I mean, obviously it's easier to eat than the frozen butter bites, and it feels more like you're eating frosting, or what does it feel like you're eating? It feels like you're eating frosting with a little bit of a gummy on the bottom, which is a little bit weird, but it's not bad. Not complaining. So there's all kinds of things that you could do to these as far as flavor. Anything that's going to work with the brown butter flavor. You can use the different chocolate elements, like the caramel chocolate element. The mint one, since you have the brown butter flavor also, might not be as good. But you could always add other flavorings to the chocolate salt version. You could use different extracts and stuff. I'm thinking that instead of water one of these times, maybe I'll use coffee. And then it would be a brown butter coffee bite, which would be really good. So they definitely melt in your hand. You definitely want to keep these in the fridge. But I like them. I'm gonna have to keep playing with them to figure out like the best way to make them, like the easiest process, and like the way that they should be eaten. But they taste really good. And I definitely do prefer having something softer like this than the hard butter bites. Again, not that the butter bites are bad, but it does feel like you're eating a chunk of butter. This kind of feels like you're eating a chocolate mousse or something. All right, those are a little deformed, but they'll still taste good. So I was arranging and taking some pictures, and I tasted some that's still a little bit frozen. It reminds me of, I mean, just barely. It reminds me of like what are those called? Fudge pops? Pudding, are they pudding pops? Like the chocolate popsicles. Gosh, I should be able to remember what they're called. But like just the frozen creamy chocolatiness reminds me of that. Although it's not overly chocolate, there's just a little bit of a hint of chocolate, and it's mostly the brown butter flavor. And I definitely do recommend doing the freezing step in order to get them out of the molds easily. It's just too difficult with the just from the fridge. I'm going to be experimenting with this because I think there's some potential here, and I think there could be some tweaks to make these really good. I'm thinking about adding more gelatin so that they're not so fall apart squishy like frosting, although maybe we can make a frosting recipe as well. That would be delicious. The other thing that would be good to try is just to reduce the liquid, like I said. So those are some ideas I'm gonna play with. Let me know if you guys have any ideas. Let me know if you do any experimenting with this recipe or with this concept. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and kudos to the Trim Healthy Mama ladies who came up with the original recipe that inspired this. Also kudos to all those who have been playing with the brown butter bite recipe that also inspired me to play with this. And thank you all for watching, and I'll just see you again in another video.